Okay, so let's continue our journey here. We've got another stop coming up just up here. So here we're starting to get right into the community itself. You can see some of the homes and things like that. Again, you can see part of the siding here. And so just up here, you can see a green box on the side of the grade. And that is a junction box for the fiber optic cable. There's a pretty important fiber optic cable that runs alongside the grade. And so you can see the mileage on here. So the mileage is milepost 20.58. That's the mileage on the Kinghorn. So for the original line, it is 121.38. So again, there's a mileage difference. The Kinghorn line was measured from Long Lac, whereas the original line, the Canadian Northern Railway Long Lake Subdivision, was measured from a place called Hornpain, which is today still part of the Canadian National Main Line. And so to calculate the mileage, you have to add 100.8 miles to whatever is shown to give you the original mileage. Now we do have another couple things coming up right here. Again, you can see that siding here really well defined. So here you can see my crude mark in here. So according to maps that I have, this was kind of a junction point. And so basically what you had was you had the end of the siding, and this siding was constructed later. And then you had the beginning of a spur, and there was a series of spurs here at Geraldton. And I'm going to explain a little bit more as we get closer to the station. Now we do have another, there it is, one of my crude markers again. So you can see there's a bunch of debris and ties and things like that. And one of the neat things is you do have a piece of rail. I want to say that's an older piece of rail. Maybe it's an 85-pound rail, because it looks like it is a bit smaller. I tried to look, but I don't see any markings or anything on there. So maybe it's been there for so long that it's basically deteriorated. Okay, let's continue our journey here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on with the siding and the spur. Here you can see more ties and pieces of concrete. So once we get up, just up here where the station building was here in Geraldton, I'll talk a little bit about kind of what's going on. Let's carefully cross this road here. Okay, so again, you can see what remains of this spur. The ballast is a little thick here. Off to our southern side. And so here, right where you see this open area, and it's got a bit of paving on it, would have been the location of the station. And what we'll do is we'll hold up here, and I'm going to tell you kind of what sort of transpired here at Geraldton. Okay, so a little bit of a pause in the video there. I actually ran into a former student of mine that lives here in Geraldton, Monica, so I spent some time catching up with her. Okay, so basically this location here, right where you see this paved area, was where the station was here in Geraldton. And so I'm just going to give you kind of a little bit of background. I had to pull up my notes. There's a lot of stuff going on here, so it's going to take me some time to kind of explain it, and I couldn't possibly remember it all. So Geraldton was not an original stop on the line. Basically you had Langmuir Station, which is to the east, and you had Bankville Station, which is to the west. So what happened is that gold was discovered in this area, and there still is gold. There's actually a big gold mine project that's being worked on right now, that is being opened up, a multi-billion-dollar gold project. So basically what ended up happening was in 1933, we see the first stop being added here. So Geraldton appears on the timetables. Now, the name Geraldton itself has a bit of history to it. So it's named after, it's an amalgamation of the names of Stanley Fitzgerald and Joseph Arrington. And those two guys were, Arrington and Fitzgerald were the president and vice president respectively of the Little Long Lac Gold Mine Company, which was the first gold mine company that opened up in this area. So basically, again, it was a stop was added here. There was a spur that was installed, and then in 1935, a siding, a 20-car siding, was added, and then in 1937 there was another spur that was added, a 16-car spur. And then a siding was opened up here in 1938, a 45 car, or the siding was expanded to 45 cars. And then in 1942, the siding disappears, but it shows a 57 car spur. Then the big change happens in 1954. And so what happens is the station's here. So this is where the stop is, but the siding is constructed, and that's the one that we kind of saw back there. And that becomes known as a place called Geraldton East. And so that's where the siding is. It's a 60-car siding, and then here there's a 62-car spur. And that sticks around for a while. Now the passenger service on this line was ended in 1956, so there's no more passengers coming here, and basically the station is not being used, and I think that was one of the reasons for sort of the shift. So in 1982, basically Geraldton is shifted, and so for basically up until that point, Geraldton Station was here. Geraldton Station then is shifted to where Geraldton East was, at milepost 20.3, and it basically shows up as a 2,600 foot siding. By 1986, the siding is expanded to 4,300 feet, and the siding remains in place until sorry, check my notes, until prior to 2005. So the siding was pulled out sometime between 1996 and 2005. So again, quite the history at this location. Again, what I'm going to do is I'll pause right now, and I'm going to show you a bunch of things. I'm going to show you some maps. I'm going to show you some timetables that will show you sort of the progression of all this. The interesting thing is the CN profile map, property map that I have, shows you the two distinct sort of the siding and then the spurs, whereas the topographic map actually shows it as one solid piece. All right, so over here, basically you can see the remains of the spur here. Okay, and so basically it would have come through right here. You can see sort of this opening here. And then here you can actually see the signage. And then you can still see the indentations from the ties all the way through. Luna, come here. And so hopefully you can make those out on the camera. Okay, Luna, come here. Come here. So we're going to hold up here, and then we're going to cross the road because we have to be careful with Luna, and then we're going to make our way over to the other side and resume.